My name is Layla Stone, and at 31, I've been my family's lifeline for too long. I'm a freelance event planner, footing the bill for their rent utilities and my older brother's pipe dream projects. They never call to check on me just to cash in. Last Saturday, I walked into a family gathering in my parents' Atlanta backyard expecting a rare moment of connection. Instead, I got ambushed. My brother demanded 50 grand for his latest business. My parents backed him, their voices sharp, insisting I owe it to the family. I said no. The air turned cold, their glares cutting deeper than words. I left heart pounding, knowing I'd crossed a line. Sunday morning, my phone buzzed. A text from my parents. "You are no longer part of this family. Please don't contact us." My fingers shook as I typed back, "Don't worry, my money won't contact you either." 5 minutes later, 23 missed calls flooded my screen. Their panic told me everything they needed: my wallet, not me. That moment lit a fire. I was done being their ATM. What happened next changed everything, and I'm ready to share it all. If you've ever been trapped by family demands, drop your story in the comments and hit subscribe. Let's talk about breaking free. Stay tuned to see how I did it. Let me take you back to that Saturday night in my parents' garden. I'd driven to their Atlanta home hoping for a rare moment of family warmth, maybe a laugh over old stories. Instead, I walked into an ambush. My older brother Dylan didn't even wait for the barbecue to cool. "Layla, I need 50 grand, he said, his voice smooth but sharp like a salesman closing a deal. "My new fashion boutique is a goldmine, high-end streetwear, exclusive designs. It's a sure thing." His eyes locked on mine, brimming with that familiar mix of charm and expectation. I'd heard this pitch before: his artisanal coffee shop that tanked, his food truck that never rolled. Each time I'd emptied my savings to keep him afloat. This time my stomach churned. I wasn't sure I could do it again. Dad cut in before I could respond. "Layla, you've got to step up for your brother," he said, his tone heavy like I was failing some unspoken test. "Family sticks together." Mom leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "It's your duty to help," she said, her words slicing through the warm night air. Duty. The word landed like a weight on my chest. For years, I'd been their safety net, paying their rent, covering utilities, even footing the bill for Dylan's car insurance when he forgot to pay. I'd always told myself it was love, that family meant sacrifice. But standing there, their expectant faces staring me down, I felt like a bank account, not a daughter. I took a slow breath, my fingers gripping the edge of my chair. "I can't," I said, my voice quieter than I meant. "I've already paid so much. Your rent $3,000 a month. Utilities another $500. Dylan's insurance, his business loans. Last year I shelled out $22,000 to keep you all going." I paused, scanning their faces, hoping for a flicker of gratitude. There was none. Dad's jaw tightened. Mom's lips pursed like I'd insulted her. Dylan leaned back, crossing his arms, a smirk playing on his face. "You're sitting on all that event planning cash," he said, his voice loud enough to carry across the garden. "And you're too selfish to help your own brother." Unbelievable. Selfish. The word hit like a punch, echoing in my ears. I felt every eye on me: cousins, aunts, uncles, neighbors invited to the barbecue. Their stares burned, judging me, branding me the villain. My throat tightened, and for a moment I wanted to cave, to write the check just to make it stop. I'd done it before, smoothed things over, kept the peace. But something snapped inside me. I wasn't the one breaking this family. I was the one holding it together, and they didn't even see it. "I'm not selfish," I said, my voice steadier now, rising above the murmurs. "I've given everything I have." "When does it stop?" No one answered. The silence was louder than their words. Aunt Karen, who'd been watching quietly from the edge of the table, caught my gaze. She didn't speak, but her eyes held a softness that felt like a lifeline. Later, as I stood by the dessert table pretending to fuss with the plates, my phone buzzed. Her text read, "Layla, you don't owe them an apology. You've carried them long enough." I stared at the screen, my heart racing. Karen had always been the one who saw through the chaos, the one who didn't buy into the family's demands. Her words were a spark, a reminder that I wasn't crazy for wanting to say no. I slipped my phone back into my pocket, my hands trembling, torn between guilt and a growing sense of defiance. I couldn't stay. I need to go, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I pushed my chair back, the scrape against the patio cutting through the tension. Mom called after me. "Layla, don't make a scene." Dylan snorted, muttering something about me being dramatic. I didn't look back. I walked through the garden gate, their voices fading behind me, and got into my car. As I sat there gripping the steering wheel, my mind spun. I'd spent years thinking my role was to keep them afloat. Rent bills, Dylan's dreams. But what if that wasn't love? What if it was just control? The thought hit me hard. Saying no wasn't just about money. It was about reclaiming myself. Driving home, the Atlanta skyline blurring past, I replayed the night in my head. Dylan's smirk. Mom's sharp words. Dad's disappointment. They weren't new, but they felt heavier now. I'd always been the fixer, the one who paid to keep the peace. But peace at what cost? My savings were drained, my energy spent, and for what? To be called selfish in front of everyone. I pulled into my apartment complex, my hands still shaking. Karen's text glowed in my mind, a small beacon in the storm. I didn't know what would happen next, but one thing was clear. I couldn't keep living for their approval. For the first time, I wondered if I could let go, not just of the money, but of the guilt that chained me to them. Sunday morning, my phone lights up with a text that cuts deep. It's from Mom and Dad, their names glaring on the screen. "You're no longer part of this family. Please don't contact us." The words hit like a blade, sharp and cold, slicing through years of sacrifices I'd made for them. I sit on my couch staring at the message, my breath shallow. For a moment, I'm a kid again, desperate for their approval, terrified of being cast out. But then I remember last night, their demands, their accusations, the way they turned my no into betrayal. My hands tremble, not with fear, but with something new, anger. I type back, my fingers moving before I can overthink it. "Don't worry, my money won't contact you either." I hit send, and the silence that follows feels like freedom. 5 minutes later, my phone explodes. 23 missed calls, Dylan, Mom, Dad, one after another, their names flashing like warning signs. Voicemails pile up, each one sharper than the last. Dylan's voice drips with venom. "You're abandoning us, Layla. You'll regret this." Mom's message is softer, but no less cutting. "How could you do this to us? We raised you." Dad's is blunt. "You're ungrateful." I don't listen to the rest. Their words are a chorus of blame, but I'm not swayed. They're not calling to apologize. They're calling because I pulled the plug on their free ride. My money, the only thing they seem to value, is now out of reach. I open my banking app, my resolve hardening. For years, I've covered their expenses, rent, utilities, even the credit card they used for emergencies that somehow included Dylan's new phone. I scroll through the auto payments, $3,000 for their apartment, $600 for utilities, $1 and $200 for Dylan's credit card balance. My thumb hovers over the screen, then presses cancel on each one. The confirmations pop up one by one, and I feel a weight lift. I'm not just cutting payments, I'm cutting the strings they've tied around me. I imagine them opening their bills next month, realizing they're on their own. For the first time, I'm not afraid of their reaction. I'm ready for it. My phone rings again, but this time it's my boyfriend Caleb. "Layla, you okay?" He asks, his voice steady, grounding me. I tell him about the text, my reply, the barrage of calls. "You did the right thing," he says. "They can't keep using you like this. You're not their bank." His words echo Aunt Karen's from last night, and I feel a spark of clarity. I've spent years thinking I had to earn their love with my wallet. Caleb's voice pulls me back to reality. I don't owe them my life. I thank him, my voice catching, and he promises to come over later. For now, I need to focus. I grab a notebook, my pen moving fast as I start listing every expense I've covered. Rent $36,000 last year. Utilities $7,200. Dylan's car insurance $2,400. His business ventures the coffee shop, the food truck now, this boutique another $15,000. The numbers stare back at me, a ledger of my loyalty. I'm not writing this for them. I'm writing it for me to see the truth in black and white. They've taken more than money, they've taken my peace. I decide to send them this list not to argue but to make it clear I'm done carrying their weight. I draft an email attaching the breakdown, my words simple. This is what I've paid. It ends now. I don't hit send yet. I want to be sure. Sitting there, notebook in hand, I feel a shift. Their text was meant to break me, to guilt me into giving more. But it's done the opposite. It's shown me who they are when I say no. They didn't call to fix things, they called to keep me in line. I set the notebook down, my mind racing but clear. This isn't the end of the fight, but it's the start of something new. I'm not just walking away from their demands. I'm walking toward myself. The next day, my Instagram notifications start blowing up. I'm at my desk trying to focus on a client's wedding mood board when my phone vibrates so much it nearly falls off the table. I open the app and see Dylan's post staring back at me, a photo of mom and dad's empty apartment boxes stacked in a corner with the caption, "When your sister chooses money over family." My stomach twists, not from guilt, but from the sheer audacity. He's spun the story to make me the villain as if I haven't been paying their bills for years. The post already has dozens of likes, and the comments are piling up, each one a new jab at my character. I scroll down and freeze. My old friend Stacy Bell has commented heartless. I can't believe Layla would do this to her own family. She's shared the post to her story, adding a broken heart emoji for extra drama. Stacy and I haven't been close in years, but her words sting, amplifying Dylan's attack to her thousands of followers. I can feel the judgment spreading like wildfire through our old social circles. My phone buzzes again, a text from a coworker, Jenna. "Hey Layla, you okay? Dylan's post is going around our group chat. People are talking." I stare at the message, my pulse racing. The group chat is full of mutual friends, colleagues, even clients. This isn't just family drama anymore, it's public humiliation. I want to fire back to tell the world how I've bankrolled their lives, rent, utilities, Dylan's failed ventures. But I stop myself. Responding would only fuel the fire, giving Dylan and Stacy the attention they crave. Instead, I take a breath and open my messages. There's one from my cousin Nora. "Layla, I saw the post. Your family's out of line. They've been taking advantage of you forever. You don't deserve this." Her words are a lifeline, cutting through the noise. Nora's always been the one who gets it, the rare family member who doesn't see me as a cash machine. I type a quick reply. "Thanks, Nora. Means a lot." Her support steadies me, but the weight of the post lingers. I set my phone down and try to focus, but my mind keeps drifting to the comments. Strangers are chiming in now. What kind of sister does that family first always? Each one feels like a needle pricking at my resolve. I've spent years building a reputation as an event planner, reliable, professional kind. Now Dylan's post is painting me as a selfish traitor. I wonder how many clients have seen it, how many will question working with me. The thought makes my chest ache, but I push it aside. I didn't start this fight, and I won't let their lies define me. To ground myself, I open my banking app. I need to be sure every tie is cut. I scroll through my transaction history, double-checking the auto payments I canceled yesterday. The confirmations are there, each one marked canceled. My account balance looks healthier already, but it's not about the money, it's about the freedom. I imagine Dylan checking his card, mom and dad opening their next bill, realizing I'm no longer their safety net. The thought brings a flicker of satisfaction, but also a pang of sadness. I didn't want it to come to this. I lean back in my chair, staring at my laptop screen. The wedding mood board is still open, a reminder of the life I'm building for myself. Dylan's post, Stacy's comment, the group chat gossip, they're loud, but they're not the truth. I choose not to reply. not to engage. Let them talk. I'm done explaining myself to people who only value what I can give them. Nora's message sits in my mind, a quiet anchor. I'm not alone in this. For now, I close Instagram and turn off my notifications. The world can wait. I've got work to do, and a life to reclaim. Tuesday evening, I'm sitting in my apartment with Caleb. The silence between us is comfortable, a stark contrast to the chaos of the past few days. My phone is off, notifications silenced after yesterday's Instagram storm. Caleb looks at me, his eyes soft but serious. "Layla, you don't have to keep proving yourself to them," he says, his voice steady. "Love isn't about how much you pay. You're enough without their demands." His words land gently, unraveling a knot I've carried for years. I've always thought I had to give money, time, energy to be worthy of my family's affection. Caleb's reassurance feels like permission to let that go, to see myself beyond their expectations. I nod, my throat tight, grateful for his clarity. A knock at the door interrupts us. It's Aunt Karen, her face warm but tinged with concern. She sits down, clutching a cup of tea I offer her. "I heard about the post," she says, shaking her head. "But there's something else. Your parents used your money to buy a 65-inch TV last month, $2,000 top of the line. They bragged about it at a family dinner but never mentioned you." Her words hit like a punch I didn't see coming. I'd been covering their rent, thinking it was for necessities, while they splurged without a word of thanks. Karen's voice softens. "You've given them everything, Layla. They don't get to demand more." Her honesty grounds me, shining a light on their entitlement. The next morning, I'm in Dr. Ellen Hayes' office, my first therapy session. She leans forward, her voice calm but probing. "What does freedom mean to you, Layla?" The question catches me off guard. I stumble, then say, "Not feeling like I owe them my life." Dr. Hayes nods, encouraging me to dig deeper. We talk about my role in the family, how I've tied my worth to their needs. It dawns on me I've mistaken their dependence for love. Every check I wrote, every bill I paid was me chasing approval that never came. The realization stings, but it's also liberating. I'm not just their daughter. I'm a person with my own limits. Back home, I pull out my laptop and start mapping out a plan. I call the utility company's electric, water, internet and request to transfer the accounts to Mom and Dad's names. I contact their landlord, explaining I'm no longer covering the rent. Each call feels like peeling off a layer of obligation. I draft a letter to send with the account details, keeping it simple. "These are now your responsibility." I'm not cutting them off out of spite. I'm giving them what they've demanded: independence. The process is tedious, but each step makes me feel lighter, like I'm reclaiming pieces of myself. That night, I open my journal, something I haven't touched in months. I write about the relief washing over me, the way Caleb's words echoed in my mind, Karen's story about the TV, Dr. Hayes' question. I'm not their ATM anymore. I scribble the words bold on the page. I'm allowed to say no. The act of writing it down feels like a promise to myself. For the first time, I see a future where my worth isn't measured by what I give. I close the journal, my heart steady, ready for whatever comes next. Wednesday morning, I'm setting up a wedding event when Dylan bursts in. The venue is buzzing with vendors arranging tables, but his entrance silences the room. He's not alone. Gavin Reed, a slick-talking guy in a tailored suit, follows him, his eyes scanning my work like a predator sizing up prey. I freeze, my hands clutching a string of fairy lights. Dylan's face is flushed, his voice loud. "Layla, we need to talk. Now." The florist glances over, but I wave her off, trying to keep this professional. My heart races, but I'm not the same person who caved under pressure last week. "I'm done running." Gavin steps forward, his tone smooth but menacing. "Your brother's boutique is a gold mine, Layla. Invest 50 grand or I'll make sure every client in Atlanta knows you abandoned your family." His words are a calculated threat aimed at my reputation as an event planner. I've spent years building trust with clients, and he's trying to weaponize that. My jaw tightens, but I hold his gaze. "You're not getting a dime. I say, my voice steady. Dylan scoffs, pacing the room, and in his agitation he bumps into a floral backdrop. The delicate structure collapses, petals scattering, a $5,000 centerpiece ruined. The vendors gasp, and I feel a surge of anger. This is my work, my space. Get out, I say, pointing to the door. Both of you. I've transferred every account, rent, utilities, everything to Mom and Dad's names. You're on your own. Dylan's eyes widen like he didn't believe I'd follow through. Gavin smirks, unfazed. You'll regret this, he says, but I don't flinch. I've faced their threats before, on Instagram, in voicemails, at family dinners. This time, I'm not backing down. They linger as if expecting me to crack, but I stand firm. Finally, they turn and leave Dylan muttering under his breath. I grab my phone and dial 911, my voice calm but firm. I need to report an incident at my workplace. I tell the dispatcher, explaining the disruption and damage. The vendors watch wide-eyed as I give details: the collapsed backdrop, Gavin's threat, Dylan's recklessness. Inside, I'm furious, but I keep my composure. This isn't just about flowers. It's about protecting what I've built. The dispatcher promises an officer will follow up, and I hang up, my hands shaking with a mix of adrenaline and resolve. I've never called the police before, but I'm not letting them intimidate me in my own space. I step outside for air, the morning sun warm on my face. I text Caleb, Dylan and some guy just showed up at work. They trashed a backdrop, but I stood my ground. I'm okay. His reply comes fast. Proud of you, Layla. You've got this. His words anchor me, a reminder that I'm not alone. I think about the past week, the garden argument, the disowning text, the Instagram post. Each time I've chosen myself, and it's starting to feel right. Dylan and Gavin can push, but they can't break me. I'm building something stronger now, a life on my terms. A week later, I'm sipping tea at a local cafe when Nora texts. Her message pops up: Dylan's boutique tanked. He's working part-time at a supermarket now. I pause, the steam from my cup curling in the air. I'd expected his business to fail. His track record with coffee shops and food trucks was proof enough. But seeing it confirmed feels different. There's no satisfaction, just a quiet acknowledgement that his choices, not mine, led to this. Dylan always banked on my money to bail him out, but without it, he's facing reality. I reply to Nora, guess he'll have to figure it out. My tone is calm, but inside, I'm processing the weight of his downfall. Nora sends another text, this one heavier. Your parents got an eviction notice. They couldn't pay rent. My chest tightens, not with guilt, but with a strange mix of sadness and clarity. Mom and Dad relied on me for years, never planning for a day when I'd stop. I'd transferred their accounts, given them a chance to take responsibility, but they didn't. Now the landlord's notice is their consequence. I picture them packing boxes, the same ones Dylan photographed for his Instagram post. The irony isn't lost on me. They called me heartless, but their refusal to adapt brought them here. I open Instagram, curious if the drama has escalated. Stacy's posted again, a long rant accusing me of abandoning my family, calling me cold-blooded. But the response is different this time. Only a handful of likes, a few vague comments. The fire she tried to stoke is fizzling out. People are moving on, uninterested in her recycled narrative. I feel a flicker of relief. Her words still sting, but they're losing power. The world isn't buying her story anymore, and neither am I. I close the app, choosing not to engage, just as I did before. My silence is my strength. My phone pings with an email from a recent client, the bride from last week's wedding. Layla, your work was flawless, she writes. The event was magical. Our guests are still talking about it. I smile, warmth spreading through me. This is what I've built: a career, a reputation, a life that's mine. The client's praise is a reminder that my value isn't tied to my family's demands. I forward the email to my team, proud of what we've accomplished despite the chaos. Their drama can't touch this part of me. Back at my apartment, I pull out a notepad and write, I didn't betray them. I stopped enabling their dependence. The words flow easily, a truth I've been circling for weeks. Every payment I made, rent, utilities, Dylan's ventures, was me trying to buy their love. But love doesn't work that way. Stopping wasn't betrayal. It was setting myself free. I stare at the note, feeling its weight. It's not just a statement, it's a declaration of who I'm becoming. I tuck the notepad away, a quiet promise to keep choosing myself. Later that evening, Nora texts again. I left the family group chat. I'm done with their guilt trips. She adds, "You're doing the right thing, Layla. I'm with you." Her words hit me like a wave of gratitude. Nora's always been the one who saw through the family's expectations, and now she's standing by me. I reply, "Thank you, Nora. That means everything." Her decision to leave the chat mirrors my own journey, cutting ties with toxicity, choosing authenticity over obligation. I sit back, my heart lighter, knowing I'm not alone in this fight. A month later, my apartment feels like a sanctuary, not a war zone. The quiet hum of my morning routine, brewing coffee, planning events, brings a peace I hadn't known was possible. My bank account no longer bleeds for rent or utilities that aren't mine. I'm free from the weight of my family's expectations, and it's like breathing for the first time in years. I walk to my desk, sunlight streaming through the window, and feel a spark of joy in the life I'm building. My work as an event planner thrives, my days filled with clients who value me for my skill, not my wallet. This freedom isn't just financial, it's emotional, a reclaiming of my own space. An envelope arrives in the mail, the handwriting unmistakably Mom's. Inside, a letter from Susan, her tone softer than before. "Layla, let's meet and reconcile. We're still family." My first instinct is to hope, but I pause. Her words sound like peace, but they echo the same guilt trips I've heard for years. I write back, my pen steady. "I wish you well, Mom, but I'm done carrying your burdens. My boundaries stay." I mail the response, feeling no anger, only resolve. I'm not closing the door forever, but I'm choosing who I let in. Susan's letter doesn't change that. Caleb and Nora have become my chosen family, their presence a warmth that feels like home. Caleb's laughter fills my evenings, his steady support, a reminder that love doesn't demand sacrifice. Nora checks in regularly, her texts full of encouragement. "You're killing it, Layla." We meet for brunch, swapping stories about work and dreams. No strings attached. Their belief in me is unconditional, a stark contrast to the family I once chased. With them, I'm not an ATM or a fixer, I'm just Layla, and that's enough. Their love is a gift, not a transaction. In my latest session with Dr. Hayes, she asks, "How do boundaries protect you?" I think for a moment, then say, "They keep my worth intact." Dr. Ellen Hayes nods, her eyes kind but sharp. We talk about how I used to equate giving with being valued, how I let my family's needs define me. Setting boundaries, saying no, stepping back, has shown me my own strength. Dr. Hayes's words linger. "You're not responsible for their choices." I leave her office feeling grounded, my sense of self no longer tied to their approval. Therapy isn't a fix, but it's a map guiding me toward clarity. Looking back, I see the lesson this journey has taught me. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's how you live, true to yourself. For years, I thought love meant giving everything, money, time, energy, until there was nothing left of me. But real love doesn't drain you, it lifts you. By stepping away from my family's demands, I've found my own voice, my own worth. I'm not the villain they painted me as, nor the hero I hope to be. I'm just me, and that's enough. This story isn't about cutting people out, it's about choosing who you let in and choosing yourself first. To everyone who's followed this journey, thank you for listening. Your support means the world. I hope my story resonates, whether you're facing family drama or learning to set your own boundaries. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What's your experience with standing up for yourself? And if this story spoke to you, hit that subscribe button to join me for more. Let's keep this conversation going, because we're all learning how to live true to ourselves.